Hi, I wanted to pop in real quick with this video because, well, it's something that recently came up and I feel like it deserves its own video because I feel like it's never spoken about, and if it is spoken about, it's not spoken about enough. So today I'm going to focus on trans bodies, specifically those who identify along the transmasculine spectrum. Some people view transmasculine bodies as some sort of checklist. First, you come out, then you start booking appointments for the gender therapist, or if you want to go for consent, you book an appointment with an endocrinologist or some informed consent clinic, depending on where you live. Then you finally get ready for your first shot, and then you start changing your documents, and then you start setting up scheduling consults for top surgery, and eventually you book a surgery date. You file with insurance tooth and nail for coverage or not. And then later on down the road, after top surgery is already well behind you, you start getting bottom surgery, and then you start going stealth. Sound familiar? Now that might have been the archaic way of looking at things, but that's literally not the case anymore. Not when the transmasculine being a spectrum of identities. It's not just about binary trans men. Trans bodies are human bodies, and they're subjected to variation just like cis people. It's not like we're of a completely different species, and we're not immune to the whole prejudice of society and their impact on how we view ourselves, even trans people. So when you start thinking about things like what is a trans person or a trans guy or a transmasculine person, you're generally going to think this, or hell, even this. These are literally the kinds of bodies that society deems acceptable because it kind of like doesn't discomfort them as much as possible, even though being trans, that already puts them at discomfort, and they try to identify and justify being trans as close to cis society as possible. So when you see media representation of people, you start seeing stuff like fit white transmasculine people as primarily binary trans masculine people, those who identify purely as trans men. And when society, or like people who are very early in transition, those who identify on the transmasculine spectrum, see these kinds of photos, they're going to think to themselves, okay, I could probably be like Aiden Dowling or Jake Graff or maybe Malcolm René Ribot. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. However, these are literally just the tip of the melting pot that is our trans community. Everyone in the trans community could be of a different race, a different creed, a different nationality, basically a different age when they transition, and all those things in between, so we are as different as society can be. However, we are not immune to society and how they view us, because it even leaks in on how we view ourselves, and in a sense most of us are kind of like inherently transphobic or very like policing of gender identity. So for someone to be considered trans enough, especially in the transmasculine spectrum, they are expected to take hormones or have top surgery or have their legal name change. In other words, they kind of see as transitioning as a trans person as a very binary kind of experience, hypermasculine, whatever you want to call it, and they define it as the transition checklist. And I say it with these quotes because there is no checklist. No one comes out as trans and comes out with a committee and gets like, congratulations on finding out that you're trans, here's a list of things that you need to do in order to be considered transgender, or else we're gonna kick you out of the group. This is not a fraternity, okay? There's no initiation, there's no freshman Friday kind of thing, there's no paddling these new people. It's just a community that should be open and welcome to all kinds of transition and all kinds of identities and all kinds of like paths that people might take, because we do have similar struggles. We're just not going to be on the same path. So while you may have seen these kinds of people, they are not representative of the entire transmasculine community. The bottom line is, people need to understand that everyone's transition is different. It's an arbitrary thing. What works right for one transmasculine person is not going to work for every transmasculine person. Transmasculine is an entire spectrum with different identities. Transmasculine is an umbrella within the trans umbrella. So with that being said, if you want top surgery, make sure it's something you want and not because other people pressure you, because peer pressure is a thing in the transmasculine community. I want you guys to know that you're beautiful the way you are. If you think like your body is perfect the way it is, you don't need to have like some type of surgery or need to go through medical transition in any way, shape, or form, fine. You are not alone. Just look at Ryan Casada. If you want top surgery, that's awesome. Just make sure it's something you want and not what you're being pressured to do. If you don't want bottom surgery, you don't have to get it for whatever reason. I mean, just look at me. I'm personally not getting bottom surgery in any way, shape, or form, like in the foreseeable future. It could change, but for the moment, it's literally not in my plans. And if you don't want to change your name, it's fine the way you are. Some people have gender neutral names that literally don't cause them that much dysphoria. Then just keep it. Don't waste unnecessary money trying to get a very masculine name out there. Those are just a couple of examples I could think of off the top of my head. But the bottom line here, and the takeaway that I want you guys to take away from this video, if you identify as transmasculine or even transfeminine, because I'm sure it has similar struggles but different kind of problems, transition is for you and you alone. It has to be something you want, whether that's changing your name or getting any kind of surgery or some medical transition, or whether or not you hormones is part of your plan. It's literally for you. Don't let anyone else, not even other trans people, dictate how you should have your body and how you should be viewed as trans enough, or if people are not going to take trans people seriously because of your decisions of not wanting to or not needing to have hormone surgery or legal name change or doing anything that makes you not viewed as trans enough. Don't wait for media to represent you. Don't let anybody shame your body. Don't let anybody tell you to go to the gym if you don't want to. Don't let anybody tell you to cover your nipples if you're post-op. We really should stop shaming our bodies, especially within our own community, because I find from personal experience that the trans community is a lot more transphobic than people who are not trans. And that needs to stop. We already get like so much hate from society at large, from people who don't know about the trans experience. We really should not be doing that to our own siblings in the trans community. And I say siblings because there's a lot of non-binary people we need to account for as well. Do not pressure anybody in transitioning the way you want them to, because that's their journey. They're the ones that have to live with themselves and their choices. So guys, just know that you are beautiful just the way you are. If you feel like you need to change something, go ahead, but just make sure it's something that you want. And remember that you are beautiful and you are loved. Okay? You're perfect, all right? That's all I wanted to say for today. So if you guys haven't subscribed already, please click the subscribe button. I put out a video every Wednesday and Saturday, and I'm gonna be coming out more videos like this, so stay tuned guys and my haters. So much more is coming, honestly, just wait for it. Thanks for watching guys, I will see you soon.